can do live videos all day, but standing up in front of everybody.
Can somebody record her on Facebook Live?
Yeah, she's got it. So I'm really going to cover on what coaching has given me as I go along in my story, but I'm Erin Wester, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm a one-star diamond. I've been a coach for 6 years. But my story is a little bit different than most stories. I technically became a coach in 2009 for about 3 weeks. Didn't do anything, didn't make any money, quit. So I quit, and then in June 2010, I was getting ready to graduate with my master's degree in social work, and I was really worried about finding a job because the social work field in Wisconsin was pretty bad in 2010. So I had this super expensive, like $80,000 master's degree, and I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to pay it off. You know, social workers don't make a whole ton of money, but I wanted to help people. That's really what I wanted to do. I had gotten pregnant with someone who was violent, who was a drug abuser, so I got pregnant and I stayed. I was up in Minneapolis, and I had been kicked out of college for drinking too much, not going to classes. I went to college for 5 years and got kicked out the first time when I was 18. So when I was 23, I got kicked out, and I met this guy at a bar, and you know, there was drugs, there was alcohol, it was just a horrible situation, and you know, we just had to keep working our butts off just to pay rent, and I got pregnant, and you know, the abuse continued, and I mean, this was back in 2006, and the abuse just continued, and finally I just said, that's enough. I left. I just got in my car and I drove 6 hours to Lake Geneva where my parents live, and I basically said, you know, this is what happened, you need to help me. So obviously they let me stay with them. I worked my butt off to get back in college, because when you have a 1.5 GPA, they don't really want to let you back in school. So I worked my butt off to get back in school, and I went to Whitewater for social work and graduated with a bachelor's in 2009 and a master's in 2010 from Loyola. So, you know, I wanted to help people. So really the only kind of job I could find was in child protection. Those of you that know, it's not a really great field. I was doing investigations in Milwaukee. So basically taking kids from drug houses and from people that were sexually abusing their kids, things like that. And I did that for 2 years. That's a job I found after 3 months of coaching. That's really all I could get. But you know, it was the state, and it wasn't very good money. It was $18 an hour with a master's degree. That's pretty crappy. And for the work that you did, it just didn't even end up fulfilling, because you had so many kids on your caseload, and you really couldn't help people the way you wanted to. So, I mean, I had found that coaching thing. You know, I had worked hard. I went Emerald in 30 days and Diamond in 100 days. So, I mean, I was making pretty good money. I was making a couple $100 a week as a Diamond coach. You know, I was happy with that. You know, it was helping me save money so I could pay off my student loans eventually, the $80,000 in student loans, plus the $20,000 in my bachelor's degree. So it was like $100,000 in student loans, making $18 an hour. It's not going to happen. So you know, I worked my butt off to be a Diamond coach. I held Diamond for about a year. You know, I was making probably about $500 a week at that time. I was pretty happy with that, but you know, I got busy with my career, and I just kind of let the coaching thing slip. I was like, oh, I'm happy making $500 a week. I don't need to make more money. You know, I'll just stay Diamond and I'll be fine. So, you know, after a year, I actually dropped rank. I went back down to Emerald, lost all my coaches, except for my mom, because my mom was the first person I signed up, like you're supposed to. And my one coach, Stuart, who actually is a 3-star Diamond coach, because he stuck with it even when I kind of didn't do the business. I didn't quit. I stayed on Shakeology and just kind of did my thing for 3 years. I was actually signed up by a friend from high school, actually, and she ended up leaving Beachbody. So Barbie Caleb is the coach that I inherited. And you know, I was Barbie Decker at the time. I was really nervous to reach out to her. She was this elite coach, and I was just an Emerald coach at that time. So you know, I was nervous. I never reached out for 3 years. I just did nothing with the business. I just kind of sat there at Emerald making like $100 a week. It was like, no, that's okay. Got married in 2014 and went on the Success Club cruise just for our honeymoon, because it was cheaper than a regular honeymoon. Didn't earn it, didn't know anything about Success Club, even though I'd been a coach for 4 years. I didn't know anything about Success Club. Didn't know anything about challenge packs, because when I started, they didn't have challenge packs. And that I went on that cruise cruise, and I came back and I reached out to Barbie finally and I said, what can I do? I need to build this business. She put me in a new coach boot camp after doing the business for 4 years, and in 10 weeks, I built my business from emerald to 1-star diamond. In 10 weeks, so I rebuilt plus what I had lost. And we wanted to have kids. I had a son from my previous relationship, but me and my husband wanted to have kids. And when I was going to school and working and interning and doing all these things while my son was growing up, I missed everything. I cried every day when I had to go to work or school or something. I'm like, I can't do this with my future kids. So we said in April 2014, we said, Beachbody is gonna be what keeps me at home. So we set this huge goal that by the time we had kids, that I was gonna quit my social work job and I was gonna stay home. So in 2015, I got pregnant with twins, and we were so excited, and we're like, okay, it's end of December, that's when I'm gonna quit my job. I'm not gonna go back, I'm gonna be a Beachbody coach full-time. We had these highfalutin dreams of making 6 figures by then. I think I was making about $1,000 a week at that time. We had these huge goals that I was gonna be making 6 figures, and it was gonna be enough to quit my job. And we got pregnant and found out it was twins, and then I had some complications near the end, and I had to tell my job, I'm gonna need extended maternity leave because I needed to be on bed rest for 3 weeks before I had a C-section. And I hadn't been at this particular job for the 12 months that you need for FMLA. So basically they said, sorry, bye, we're having to let you go. So this was like 3 weeks before I was gonna have my C-section. Our insurance was through my job, so we were gonna lose our insurance. And I was still only making like $1,200 a week at the time, and I was like, well, what are we gonna do? So we just sat down and had a reality check, and we said, well, we can go on my husband's insurance. It's more expensive, but it's what we're gonna have to do. And we're gonna say, I'm not gonna go back to a job. Yeah, I quit, I got fired, whatever, I'm not going back. I was making double what I was making as a social worker with a master's degree. So we were gonna be okay. So we're like, okay, we'll be fine. Beachbody is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna go find another job. So, had my C-section, had my twins, and about 6 days after they were born, one of our twins, actually, her heart stopped beating. So we called 911, went to the hospital, stabilized her, and went to Children's. And we were there for a week. And this really shows the support from the network. We were there, we were at Children's Hospital for a week. She was on machines, she wasn't breathing on her own. There was no brain waves. So after being there a week, we had turned the machines off, and we had to let her go. And if it wasn't for Beachbody, I don't know what we would have done, because everyone on my team and on other teams sent us money, supported us. My team stepped up because I couldn't work. I couldn't get challengers, I couldn't hit success calls, I couldn't do anything. So luckily, thanks to the support from the network, we're doing okay. I mean, we paid off all of the medical bills that we had, the money that people raised, plus money from Beachbody, so we have no medical bill debt. We're able to pay for her burial, which is the hardest thing ever. We were able to pay for that thanks to Beachbody and the team. And I mean, 5 years ago, I never would have stepped up here. So self-confidence is what Beachbody has given me. And I get to be with my kids full time. My daughter has never had to know what it's like to be in daycare. She gets to be with her family because they want her with them and because they want to help out. And $25,000 in credit card debt got paid off thanks to Beachbody. And yeah, I'm still growing my team. We're still working, we're still building, but if you have a job where you can not work for 2 months because something tragic happens to you and people are still there to support you, that's what this is all about. And that is what being a Beachbody coach is all about. Thank you.